like one piece of chocolate.
Okay, fine.
Just like every horrible divorce story. Oh, hey, we're live. Hey, here we are. Hey, all right.
We're live.
Welcome in, everybody. Hi. Yeah, we weren't just talking about the 30,000 versions of Law and Order. No, we're
No,
talking
of
sports.
course not.
Oh man. I am Vince. I'm speaking first, I guess, because I decided that I'm going to speak first. Sam, how's it going, buddy?
Good. How are you?
I'm shiny, man. Tyler is out again on assignment, and that assignment is his honeymoon. So, you know, good for you, bud. And Tim is on the ones and twos. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. It's Tuesday.
Yep.
It is Tuesday. It
Yeah,
feels a little.
It feels like a Monday. It's Tuesday.
with all the news that broke today for the Niners. I'm real glad we actually delayed a day. Get to talk about all this live instead of just blowing past it next week. We get to dig in right before the season starts. So we'll talk. We're talking a lot of football today. You're getting our picks for the who we think is going to win the Super Bowl, who's going to make the playoffs, all those good stuff. We got the Niners had a bunch of breaking news, good and bad. Uh, Steph Curry got paid. We'll talk about that, and then some bad news off the out of hockey as well. And of course, we're going to hit soccer, and who knows what else we get to. We'll see, but let's dive into it. NFL is king, football is king. Let's just start with the picks. Let's just go right into it, I think, and then we'll hit the news and notes after. Um, so yeah, I'm looking at it. Tyler sent me his picks, so we'll read off his picks as well as we go. That being said, I think we just start with the AFC. What do you think, Sam? Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we'll go north first. Tyler has the Bengals winning the North, coming back after that down year last year. I have the Ravens. Not only do I have the Ravens winning the North, I have them as my number one seed. Uh,
Holy
who do you
shit.
have?
Holy shit. The Ravens as the number one seed.
That's my number one overall seed in the AFC. That's who I have.
Wow.
hmm
Yeah, I'm going Bengals.
You're going Bengals as well. Okay. All right. So let's move to the South. Tyler has the Texans. I also have the Texans.
Yeah, I think we're all pretty high on the Texans, seeing
Yeah.
what the
There's a lot
quarterback
of
did.
there's a lot of hopes and dreams in CJ Stroud's arms for a lot of people, not just us, right? Like our fantasy teams are depending on him. Um,
Absolutely.
I'm hoping this, it keeps going good, and keeps progressing forward, and it's not a Baker Mayfield in Cleveland situation where he flashed that first year and then it just all went to shit that second year. Um, so let's go to the East, the AFC East. Tyler has the Dolphins winning it over the Bills. I also have the Dolphins winning it. I think they get the job done. Actually, I think the Dolphins end up as the 2 seed, if I'm being honest. But I mean, we're not tracking that. We're just tracking top seed, I think. So who do you have? Is it the Bills? Is it the Dolphins?
Well, I feel like Buffalo is on the downswing,
hmm
personally, is what I think, like, especially given getting rid of their wide receiver
hmm
and not really replacing Diggs with not a star like that.
Yeah, it's going to end up
Um,
being Dalton Kincaid. I think soaks up a lot of those targets.
uh, you know what?
Is it the Jets? Maybe
I'm
is it?
If the Jets are healthy, I would actually pick the Jets, but I don't know if I can trust them. I'm gonna go Miami for continuity, and
Okay.
they just have so much weapons.
hmm
Seems like they're buying into their head coach, and they have a good relationship. So I'll go with Miami.
Okay. Um, all right, so let's turn to the West. No surprise here. Tyler and I both have the Chiefs. Tyler has the Chiefs as the number one seed. So are you picking the Chiefs?
I gotta pick the Chiefs.
I mean, okay, of course.
They're the defending champs. They're
Yeah,
you know So yeah, they're the defending champs. they get all the respect until they're dethroned. So it's just
Right
just
on.
how it goes.
Are they your 1 seed as well? Bengals, Texans, Dolphins, Chiefs. Who's your 1 seed?
Yeah, I still got to have Kansas City as the 1 until they're booted.
Until evidence proves otherwise. No, I get it.
Yep.
All right, so wild card teams. Tyler goes with the Ravens, Bills, and Browns. I'm choosing the Bills, Bengals, and Jaguars. I think the Jaguars bounce back and sneak into the playoffs. How about you? What teams are you looking at?
I got the Ravens.
Okay.
I think the Jets are in.
Okay.
And I really want to pick the Raiders. I really do. And I just don't think they're going to make it, dude.
Yeah. It's tough. I mean, because you still have
I'll go Cleveland as the
you're going
final.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Bills don't even make the playoffs for you. That's interesting.
Oh shit.
That's a spicy take. We're gonna think about this again, or
yeah, I gotta go Bills for the final wild spot.
So Bills instead of Browns?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So so just to recap, Sam has the Bengals, Texans, Dolphins, and Chiefs are the number 1 seed, with the Ravens, Jets, and Bills as your wild card. Tyler has Bengals, Texans, Dolphins, Chiefs, with Chiefs is the 1 seed as well. And you guys match actually on your division champs as well. Ravens, Bills, and Browns are his teams. You have Ravens, Bills, and Jets. My teams are the Ravens, Texans, Dolphins, and Chiefs. The Ravens are my 1 seed, and I have the Bills, Jaguars, and Bengals making the playoffs as my wild card teams. And so let's switch gears to the North. To the NFC. Excuse me. Starting with the North. Tyler and I both have the Lions.
In the North, I got to go with the Lions as the division winner.
Yeah, I agree. All right. How about the South? We'll let you go first on this one.
NFC South. Ooh, what a
shit show, right?
What a show.
Oh man, it is.
Kind of
ugly.
To me, it's probably. I know they look like dog shit in the season, but the Falcons. I mean, they got Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
You would think they would be better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I'm still looking at New Orleans though.
I think New Orleans opens up 0-3. They fire their head coach and they're done for the year, man.
Yeah, and then Tampa Bay is just
they're unimpressive. Yeah, just overall, I'm not.
And then the Panthers,
they're dog shit. Yeah,
they're a mess. I think I'm going the Falcons, dude.
You want to know something? Me and Tyler agree. We're all going Falcons. That's why I wanted to set that up. I wanted to see what you would say. Unencumbered by what we already have.
We could do the rest. We could do the rest with me going first since I don't need to be talked into it.
All right, that's fine. So NFC East.
Oh, the Eagles.
Yeah, I agree. I think that streak continues with the NFC East, where it's a different champion every year.
The Giants. The
Giants are going to get like 3 wins. Commanders might get 4.
I think the Commanders will be like a good 5-6 win team because you're just looking at the quarterback and the young talent coming in. Does this look like we have a foundation? Yay! I think year 2 and 3 is the big steps that Washington can make.
Right.
Dallas. I just have no faith in Dallas, especially with the nonsense coming out of Jerry World.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Not breaking my heart by not picking the Cowboys, I'll tell you that.
Eagles all the way.
Yeah. And then the NFC, all 3 of us have the Eagles, by the way. I don't think that's a surprise that Tyler's picking his favorite team, especially because they're good. And then NFC West, this one, it's
49ers.
Obvious. It's Niners. So who's your 1 seed? Lions, Falcons, Eagles, Niners. Let's remove the Falcons. Lions, Eagles, Niners. Who's your 1 seed?
Lions, Eagles, Falcons, Niners.
Mhm.
You know, I'm going to say for the 1 seed, I'm actually going to go with the Eagles.
Okay.
And the reason why, I think the 49ers are going to be really good,
Mhm.
but they're going to play the Rams twice. The Rams are really good.
Mhm.
They're not going to roll over and die.
Yeah.
Seattle is not quite there, but they're still
Tough.
here.
They're a pain in the ass. Yeah.
They're still
for
here
sure.
for a rock fight. Like
Mhm.
you're gonna be in a rock fight with Seattle. And then Arizona, I feel like, is a team that it could go up, it could go down,
Mhm.
but with the wide receiver and the quarterback, that could be, you just never know that
Right.
any given Sunday, that
Oh,
offense
totally.
can go
Yeah.
off.
No.
So
Tyler's in the chat, by the way. What's up, Ty?
the NFC West is not an easy
Oh no.
schedule, and that's 6 games that the 49ers are going to play. I got to think 1 or 2 or 3 of those games could get crazy on the 49ers.
Oh yeah.
I
No,
just
I
don't
yeah.
see the win numbers. Or
Yeah,
we
no,
could be crazy and then they're fucking 15 and
into yeah. That's 17 game schedule. So fucking
so
stupid. All right, so you have both Tyler and you have the Eagles as the 1 seed. I'm picking the Niners as the 1 seed because why the fuck wouldn't I? You know,
Mhm.
I mean, so for wild card teams, who are your wild card teams?
I think the Rams get in.
Okay,
I got the Rams. No one else from the South. Detroit. I think Green Bay.
okay,
Um, maybe Dallas.
yeah,
You know what? I don't think it's gonna happen, but I'm rooting for it. Chicago Bears.
okay. So Bears instead of who? Bears instead of Cowboys.
Yeah,
Okay, let me
Cowboys don't make the playoffs.
All right, not mad about that. Oh, the chaos that would ensue.
They stink.
That would be a lot of fun. So Tyler's wild card teams are the Cowboys, Rams, and Packers. You had almost the same 3, by the way. Um,
Yeah,
so
Cowboys.
my teams are the Rams, Cowboys, and get ready for the upset special, the Cardinals. I think the
Oh
Cardinals make
wow.
that jump. I think they're like right there. And they just kind of catch people by surprise and sneak in as the 7th
They
seed.
can. They
Yeah,
can.
I mean, it only takes like 8 or 9 wins. Like I think they can get to 9 wins.
Yep.
Um,
That's switching back to the AFC. That was kind of like my only hope with the Raiders, but there's so many teams in the AFC that you have to get past.
right, yeah. Yeah, and I don't see that happening for the Raiders either.
I don't. And
Unfortunately for
you
you,
know
man.
what sucks? How I feel about that is they could be a better team this year than what they were last year,
Mhm.
and the record could show worse. So
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you gotta. I know fans are looking at it like, oh, they have to make the playoffs, and yeah, that'd be ideal. That'd be a dream just to get into the playoffs at 9, 10 wins, or something really crazy happens and somehow you win the division somehow, some way. But that doesn't mean you're a good football team, you know? A lot of things have to go your way.
Mhm.
And we've seen a lot of teams kind of stumble and bumble into the playoffs and just look like dog shit come playoff time.
Yeah.
And I'm bringing up the list. You know, you got to get past so many good teams in the AFC.
Mhm.
Pittsburgh, you got to think is going to be there. Cleveland is going to be there.
You can just pencil in Pittsburgh for 9 wins because
Right.
Mike Tomlin does not get losing records.
Right.
Know?
So, I mean, there's just
even
so many
with
teams in
dog
the
shit
AFC,
quarterback
so.
play, man. It's, yeah.
So, I don't know.
All right. So, your Super Bowl representatives, AFC, who's making the Super Bowl?
The AFC. Fuck, dude. I got to pick the Chiefs again.
Okay. It hurts you to do it.
It does.
So, me and Tyler disagree, actually, with you. Tyler has the Ravens making the Super Bowl, and I think the Dolphins get it done. That they get to the Super Bowl.
I hope the Dolphins get there, but
it'd be a lot of fun. That's what I'm hoping for, actually, is fun. So who's your NFC team?
NFC, I got to go with the 49ers, man.
Yeah.
Well, they finally.
Okay, so Tyler went with the Eagles. I went with the Niners. So to recap, Tyler has the Eagles beating the Ravens in the Super Bowl. I have the Niners beating the Dolphins. You got the third time in 5 years, Niners Chiefs. Who's it going to be this time? Is it the Niners finally?
Jeez. I feel like we're just barring injury, Vince. I just think it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. I hope you're right, man. I hope you're right. I don't know how many times I can do this, getting to the Super Bowl and losing.
I mean, we keep picking the 49ers to win it. We got to be right at one point this
yeah, sooner or later.
10 years.
Sooner, I would hope. Man, I mean, my team was 5-0 in the Super Bowl, and then these last 3 times they've gone, the one time under Harbaugh and the last couple of times under Kyle, it has not happened. It's been so close. Playing in overtime this last one too.
I know.
It's only the second time the Super Bowl's ever gone to overtime. It's just like rare and rarer and rarer are the ways to lose. Like sooner or later they're going to get it done, and I feel like it's coming, man. It's got to be coming.
Absolutely.
For the love of Thor, may it happen soon. I'm dear Zeus, please let this happen. I'm sending it out to every single god there is. Like please. Okay.
What's crazy is I heard this stat today that the Jets as a franchise have been into the playoffs. They've only had 25 playoff games in their entire franchise history.
Good Lord.
Where the 49ers, since the Jim Harbaugh era, have had 20 playoff games since Jim Harbaugh.
This is Jim Harbaugh. So basically 2011. Since 2011.
We're like, they're reading off some of the stats.
Which is like, isn't that the last time the Jets made the playoffs was like 2010 too, or something like that?
Yeah.
Like it's been a while, man.
So the Jets have not been in the 70s. They did not make the playoffs once the entire 70s.
They are, I mean, that you want to talk about snake bitten franchises, man. That's one of them.
When I was
sure.
It's crazy. The Giants are like way more successful.
Oh,
Jeez.
yeah. Okay. So those are your picks. Let's lock it in. And let's move on to some news and notes. It's kind of Niners heavy because I was the one in here updating the doc. But so we'll just start with Brandon Ayuk got his bag finally. 4 years, 120 million, 76 guaranteed. That was Thursday afternoon. Thank fuck it's over. Trent Williams ended his holdout this morning, and he got his bag later, like just a couple of hours ago. They announced it. 3 years, 82.6 million. The Niners reworked Debo's contract to create 16.4 million in salary cap space. And then they also redid Malik Collins' deal, and that created another 5.4 million. So that's kind of how you worked out how you got both Trent and Brandon Ayuk's deals done. CMC returned to practice today after a calf strain that kept him out of the preseason. And here we go.
I actually talked to him before practice because he's my starting running back in my fantasy.
He's your starting running back. Yeah,
and,
coached him up a little bit, just checked in a little
bit,
made sure he's good to go.
Just made sure.
It was precautionary anyway.
Yeah.
You kept him out as a precaution. you need him for games that matter, of course. And
Absolutely.
the season starts on Monday for the Niners. They have Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
So all right, so let's rip the band-aid off. That was enough fun. Ricky Pearsall ended up getting shot in the chest in an attempted robbery in San Francisco on Saturday. He didn't need surgery as all of his vital organs were missed somehow, thankfully. He was put on the reserve non-football injury list on Monday, so he's going to miss the first 4 games of the season. It came out actually earlier today. They were having like a team party when it happened. And so from the hospital room, he called in and like checked, like said hi to everybody and everything. And he was able to get out of the hospital the following day as well on Sunday. So, and it sounds like if God's forbid you have to get shot, I mean, I'd prefer grays, but if you're gonna get shot in the chest, get shot where he got shot, I guess. Overall, he's very, very fortunate. An inch in any other direction, he's probably in a lot of danger, maybe even dead.
Or
But,
even less, man. I mean, you
yeah.
could have just
Yeah.
grazed an artery or a nerve on your spine,
Yeah.
exit,
So,
paralyzed.
I'm able to be somewhat more cavalier about this, less serious about it because he survived and there was no major injuries and he was out of the hospital the next day. So less than 24 hours later. So it's very fortunate. It really is. I mean, and I don't have to put on my super deep somber I can't put it sucks that it happened, but I'm glad that it's nothing major. And if he's probably going to end up playing later this year. Is what it sounds like. He just has to get into shape. He was already out of the preseason with the shoulder injury. He was working his way back from that, so he's got a couple more weeks to recover from that as well. And so hopefully when he does take the field eventually, it may be longer than 4 weeks. It's going to be a minimum of 4 weeks that he misses. It could be 7 or 8 weeks. We don't know for sure, because that's not a frequent injury that comes up, thankfully. I mean, we know about was it Brian Robinson Jr., the running back in Washington. Those are the only 2 that I can think of, between since the pandemic, really. So the last 4 years. I mean, and then before that, you're talking was it Plexico Burris maybe before that, like a decade before that. So I
He
mean,
shot himself, right?
yeah, exactly.
Misfire a gun or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hit his own foot or something. So
I just, the whole situation, we're not a political show, but it's just really sad because the guy who is apparently did this is a 17-year-old guy from Tracy. And if guilty, I mean, you're throwing how many years of your life, for what? To take somebody's gold chain or cash,
take his Rolex, to
whatever.
try to get his Rolex, and you
didn't get nothing.
Fought him off, yeah.
You didn't get nothing. So I guess I don't want to get too crazy with it, but my point is, if somebody's listening to this, it's not the society we want to live in. It's not the society anybody wants to live in. And, you don't need to do this. Now, this kid, he's 17, he's throwing his life away. For what? For nothing. It's just sad, man. I'm glad that Ricky's okay, but I'm also sad that this happened in our own backyard, that it happens every day in our own backyard, that this could have been you or me, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
This happens to people like you and me all the time.
Don't get nearly the press coverage of,
no.
Yeah.
And, I live in a community where this happens all the time. And, we can't bury our head in the sand and act like this doesn't happen. I don't know if that's mental illness stuff, police stuff. I don't know. But as humans, as fellow humans in these communities, we don't need to treat each other like that. We don't need to do this to one another, and that we can be accountable for on our own. This kid doesn't need to do that. He could have made a better decision, and it's just sad, man. It's that really hit me in a bad spot over the weekend when this came through.
Totally, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that we can really have anything else to add on to that. So I think let's
Yeah.
just be as clunky as possible and move on to another sport entirely and just talk about Steph getting another fucking bag, huh? Um, so he
Woo!
signed a 1-year extension for $62.6 million, keeping him with the Warriors through the 2026-27 season. And just for fun fact, the image that I put up there, um, the A's payroll is 62.57 million. Steph is getting 62.59 million in the 2026-27 season. So one Warrior is getting more money than the entire Oakland A's roster payroll for this year. So that's fun. Love that.
I'm glad you brought this up because
Yep.
what time is it?
It's fuck John Fisher o'clock,
Fuck
baby.
John Fisher o'clock.
Fuck John Fisher o'clock. Just as always.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just,
You know what's
yeah.
crazy is if like the A's have had players in their, since the John Fisher era started,
2005 for those of you who are
and
unaware. Yep.
they've had star players that are you could build a franchise and market a franchise around, and they have signed no one. Like, is Matt Olson a star? Matt
Absolutely.
Olson a star?
Yes.
Gave him away.
Unequivocally.
Gave him away. Matt Chapman, maybe he's not the greatest player of all time, but is he a quality third baseman that is probably going to get a big bag from the Giants or someone else?
Yeah.
Like, he's going to get paid.
Yeah. Lockdown defensive third baseman, to be sure. And he provides
Simeon,
enough pop. Yeah.
I know
Simeon,
the Ridge
MVP. Yeah.
Right.
MVP in Toronto after he left. Fuck.
So, I mean, Sean Murphy,
Mhm.
these are all players that are still in the league. It's so hard to watch a game and see all these players throughout the league that are former A's that are still doing really well.
Mhm.
And you look at how much they're making across the league. In any franchise that truly wanted to compete, this team still would have been in place.
Mhm.
So I just, congrats to Steph. Game-changing personality. I mean, game-changing play.
Worth
and he's
every penny,
and he's being rewarded for it. So good for him. It's just heartbreaking to show that little graphic next to it, Vince, like because it brings up all of the emotions of the A's, but it also brings up the emotion of the Warriors of all the success that Steph brought. I mean, the Chase Center is what Steph built.
Yeah, that's the house that Steph built. Absolutely.
If the Giants ballpark, that's the ballpark that Bonds built. That is a no doubter.
Yeah.
And this is the house that Curry built. So congrats. At least
sad.
he's going to stay a Warrior forever.
He's a Warrior until he retires. There's no doubt about that in anybody's mind now at this point. Like, if the Warriors are shelling out 62.59 million for he'll be, let's see, he's what, 36 right now. So I mean, we're talking for a 39-year-old Steph Curry, if they're giving him 63 million basically,
I guarantee you, dude,
he's not going nowhere.
Very shortly after Curry retires, I bet he's going to become part owner. A percent, half a percent. He's becoming part owner of the.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he helped build that. Like that, it's another way for Lacob to thank him, and
absolutely,
that's probably a deal that they have, like a handshake deal that they have. A little wink.
Nudge, I can't comment.
We don't have any insider information about that for sure.
Yeah.
But come on. Yeah. Come on. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
I mean, if I'm the owner, I would be a ambassador of your brand. And then especially, I didn't know if you had it on the docket today, was you guys sent that link about how the NFL changed their rules so you can take on financial equity firms.
I didn't put that link in the show doc, but so other leagues already do this. By the way, at a higher percentage. The NHL, NBA, MLB, they already allow equity firms to get up to like I think it's like 30% or something like
Right.
that. The NFL is allowing 10%. So still lower than other leagues, but 10% of an NFL team is a lot more than 30% of a hockey team. I'll say
Yeah,
that,
absolutely. Absolutely.
so in terms of just raw dollars, it's still a significant chunk of money that they're allowing from just these equity firms. You know, so yeah, I mean that's a whole other fucking topic we could get into another day. I think we do want to try to keep this wheel moving along.
Yeah.
Anything left for basketball, or should we just move on to more sad stuff?
Let's keep it moving, buddy.
Let's keep it rolling. So, rest in peace, Johnny Gaudreau, Johnny Hockey. Uh, he and his brother were riding bikes on a county road in New Jersey. They were there for their sister's wedding, uh, and some an SUV kind of pulled over a little bit to the left to try to go around them, and some asshole decided to try to get past that SUV by going into the right and just took them both out. And this is all according to the police. A Jeep Grand Cherokee hit two pedal cyclists identified as the Goudreaus from behind while trying to pass an SUV on the right that had moved over to make way for the two cyclists. The police responded at 8:19 p.m. and both of them suffered fatal injuries. And the driver was suspected of being under the influence at the time and had been charged with 2 counts of death by auto. Um, and yeah, so I mean, just you're there in your home for your sister's wedding, which was supposed to be Friday in Philly, and it just like and this happens. It's just a super dark cloud over the entire weekend for her,
What
and
a yeah.
it's just a terrible thing. Like, I mean, I knew one person whose mother-in-law passed away like 5 or 6 weeks before the wedding, and they ended up putting that wedding off. But this to have it to happen the day before, and it's your big brothers, um, uh, Johnny obviously was a 6-time All-Star or whatever. His brother Matthew also played hockey, but he didn't make it to the NHL, but he played 5 years in the ECHL, and I think he got to the AHL for a little bit as well. So I mean, and these guys were scrappers, and it's tragic. And don't fucking drink and drive. Let's
Yeah.
just let. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, there's Uber. If your car's gonna be fine.
This
Wherever it is,
this
man. It's just
accident, Vince,
yeah.
actually happened. A similar situation happened to a friend of ours. I'm not going to say his name because I don't know if he wants this as public information.
Right.
But we got the phone call from other friends that, hey, homie's in the hospital. He got hit by a car while on
Yep.
a bicycle,
Mhm.
and we didn't know what was going on. You can't make heads or tail. Is
Mhm.
he all right? Is he walking? And this
Mhm.
required surgery. He was in the emergency room. Thankfully he survived,
Yeah.
but it was, a centimeter this way or that way. It could have killed him.
Yeah.
And thank God he didn't. But, we have to, again, it's our community, right? It's how we treat each other, and like you said, man, drinking and driving, like, I get it. I'm guilty. I've done that stuff before when I was 21, 22, and it's not going to go anywhere. Accidents happen in a blink of an eye,
There's
now
there's no there's no
we
upside.
it's
Yeah.
it's Uber, man. It's Lyft or leave the car,
Mhm.
don't risk it. It's just a really sad
Yeah.
weekend of events. So rest in peace, Johnny Hockey, as I got to see in some in
Yeah.
memory forms for him.
There's been some a lot bigger YouTubers have covered it as well. Brody
Yeah.
put out a thing. The hockey guy did a whole thing as well. I mean, there's you go to Columbus, like around the arena. There's different player banners or whatever. So in front of Johnny Gaudreau's like a an altar, for lack of a better word, has sprouted up as well there. Same in Calgary where he spent his first 6 seasons, and just every account has said that this is a really good dude, and the hockey world, but the world itself is a little less good, without a dude like that. So it's unfortunate, it's sad, and it's devastating, and it was completely avoidable. Um, so yeah, just
Yeah.
rest in peace. All right. So once again, clunky transition. Let's move on to soccer and let's talk just real quickly. Wrexham gets the win 2-0 over Peterborough. So they are up to second place in the EFL 1.
Damn.
They're up to second place. It's only 4 games in. They're 10 points. They're 3 wins, 1 draw. They're playing Shrewsbury Town on Saturday morning. It's like 7 a.m. our time in the Pacific. But yeah, so I brought it up last week. Top 2 get in automatically. The third through 6th have a playoff to be the third team advancing into the championship. If they go back to back to back, I mean it's way too early to even like truly contemplate that, but what they're already doing is unheard of. Like this is impossible. I mean, I remember last year we were talking. This is a team that's probably belongs somewhere middle third tier right now. Right now, early in the season, but they're at the top of the third tier as it stands. And obviously, the goal is to keep getting promoted, right? And I mean, they're not doing themselves any harm by trying.
And how are they doing this? Is this a bunch of young guys, or is this still like a?
It's a combination. Like it's like most great teams, it is a combination. There is some young guys on the squad, but like you're relying a little bit more heavily on young veterans, I guess is what I would call it. Paul Mullen's still on this side of 30. So he's on the young side of 30. So
Right.
I mean, and same with a bunch of the other guys. They're like they're these guys are all hitting their prime. A lot of these guys, especially the goalkeeper, he's real young actually. Arthur Okonkwo, he's I think he's like 24 or something like that. So there's a lot of really good talent with the team right now, and obviously when you get promoted, you get a bigger budget. Just from the TV money alone, you get more money, and they're just putting it right back into the team. God, it's so nice when owners treat their team like something that to show off and be proud of, and to try to improve and make everything better. Buildings, like fixing the stadiums, things like that. It's nice when the owners give a fuck.
Oh, when they don't want free handouts, they just
Yeah.
want everything for free.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Ryan and Rob. I mean, anybody who's seen the doc knows a lot of this already. But like they started building that fourth temporary stand immediately, just to have more people in the stands right away. I mean, it helps them get more money, but it also lets more people be there because tickets were starting to get kind of pricey, especially for a fourth tier team at that point.
Absolutely.
So yeah, good on Wrexham. Let's move on to Bay FC. They played 2 games last week. They played a friendly against Barcelona. It was 5-2, a 5-2 loss, but it was tied 2-2 at the half, and then wholesale changes were made at that point to get everyone into the game, get everyone healthy. Barcelona is just, I mean, they're essentially the top women's team in all of the world, basically. So I didn't expect Bay FC to get the win, but they held them 2-2 at half, and that includes Oshuala, former Barcelona player who they got. She got the scoring started. I think it was real early too, like 18 minutes in or something like that. So it was nice to see her put one in the back of the old onion bag. And then so that was a lot of fun, and people took their pictures, and the Barcelona team, walked over the bridge with the Bay FC team and waved at the fans. They threw stuff into the crowd. It was a nice, fun, international friendly moment, and everybody got to play and nobody got hurt. So overall, thumbs up, good work. That's what we like to see. So let's move on to the game on Friday night against Portland Thorns. They get the W 3-1. The player that they traded for, I talked about her last week, Abby Dahlkemper, 8 minutes in, immediately makes an impact, crashes the net from the left side and heads home an arcing cross from Bailey at the goal line. Bailey puts it in the air, Mark McGuire style ball, like, big arc, and then Dahlkemper just heads it in. So that's the first goal. Rachel Hill, 10 minutes later, sliding in, boots it home on the right side from across from Rachel Kundananji. And then Soph Smith scores 30 at 31 minutes in off of a poor play from Roland trying to get the ball to Dahlkemper. So at that point, it's 2-1. So we go into the second half. The sub, Joelle Anderson, comes on maybe 5-ish minutes later off of a turnover just outside the 18-yard box. She goes low and away to the left past the keeper. Kundananji got a yellow card in the 73rd minute. And then also one of the Portland players, Jess Fleming, got a yellow card in the 83rd minute for pulling down Kiki Pickett's jersey on a foul. So that was your game recap. Their current record in the NWSL is 7 wins, 11 losses, no draws, 21 points. They are in eighth position. That is the last playoff spot. Spit it out, Vince. And then they're hosting Racing Louisville on Saturday at 7 p.m. So there's your score update. Let's move on to the transactions. The first set of transactions to talk about. Wednesday morning, Bay FC traded defender Kayla Sharples to Kansas City Current for a goalkeeper, Jordan Silkowitz, and $15K in allocation funds. I think that's probably a good move when you brought in Abby Dahlkemper. Kayla Sharples no longer really had a spot, just kind of fitting in with the team. So they were able to find somewhere for her to be to still get some quality minutes as well, because Emily Menges isn't coming off, and Abby Dahlkemper was former U.S. women's team player, so she's able to play and provide deep crosses immediately as well. That's how a lot of the scoring started. It's just I think it's starting to activate something. I think maybe that the addition of Abby Dahlkemper, we talked about it a little bit, her being able to send the ball deep forward and push the attack a little bit. I think that this is going to start something big. And we saw it against Portland, who is higher in the standings than Bay FC as well. So let's not forget about that. They're it's quite the opportunity for Bay FC to maybe make the playoffs, maybe even put a couple of teams between them and the 8th spot, so that way they're secure in there. Obviously wish Kayla Sharples all the best. She played a lot of quality minutes as well. And good luck in Kansas City, and maybe we'll meet in the playoffs with her. Who knows? We'll see. The next slide, Tim, for one more addition happened just on Saturday, just before the transfer portal closed. Bay FC acquired Penelope Hawking, a forward from Chicago, for $250,000 in transfer funds this year and another $100K in transfer funds in 2025. So they're really just adding more and more scoring depth as well. So if you can connect, if you can make Abby Dahlkemper connect with these forwards, with Rachel Kundananji and Oshuala, and now Hawking as well, that's all signs of good things to come. One more bit of news from Bay FC: they extended Alyssa Melanson, who is one of their defenders, through 2027, and this is all happening under this new collective bargaining agreement as well. So I actually listened to a different podcast, The Women's Game, from the Men in Blazers Network, and they were talking to the NWSL Player Association president as well, and they were talking about that. So that's a good listen, provides a lot more insight as well. But the ability to they just kind of went in, and it was a couple years early, so they didn't have to negotiate till 2026. But I think the league saw that they needed some good press after some really bad things happening in the past few years, especially during the pandemic, especially in North Carolina specifically. Right. So really good press right now, getting the players what a lot of what they wanted. And this actually moves them more towards what the European leagues are doing as well. So there is like players are free agents immediately once their contract ends. There's no like restricted free agency or anything like that. There is no expansion drafts or college entry level drafts or anything like that either. So this is just moving the league more towards what the rest of the world is doing with soccer, and I think it's overall it's going to be a good thing in the long run. More quality players are going to want to come here now
Yeah, I think
to the
so. I think
NWSL.
if there's only if there was ever any hope for MLS,
Yeah, yeah, maybe take a page out of that book. I mean, if you're not going to run on the same schedule, at least run with the same rules, And
right?
that's kind of what NWSL is doing right now. And we'll see how it shakes out over the next, few years. But I like where it's going. And with that, I think we're good to call this an episode, man. I don't know. Do you got anything you wanted to talk about, or?
No, I wanted to show a video, but I want to wait until Tyler is back so we can all
Okay,
watch it together as a family.
perfect. Sounds good. Yeah, well, as a family, we can like
As a
hold
family.
pinkies.
It's a
All right.
family.
As a
I
family.
also have another draft tonight, so I gotta.
Oh yeah, you gotta dip out and
it's on the cursed NFL app. So
oh yeah, I had one of those last week. I'll tell you what, the league that I'm playing in that one, there's a couple of teams that look pretty good, but there's also a couple of dum-dums in there, man. And I from the 10 spot out of 10 teams, I dominated that draft. So good luck to you.
I will say if I would have known ahead of time, I would have asked, are you committed to the NFL app? Can you move it over to Yahoo? And if the answer was no, I would not have joined the league. I didn't know that it was an NFL league.
I tried to push the commissioner to go onto Yahoo, and the commissioner sounded like he'd give it a look, but then ended up deciding to stay. So I'll try again next year. It's fine. It'll be fine. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, we made that switch years and years ago, and I know Yahoo doesn't do a whole lot. They're not. But when it comes to fantasy football, they got it just right.
Yeah.
Well, it's the best option out of a bunch of shit.
Out of the main ones. I mean, there's some other ones that are like, for the really like degenerate fantasy football people that are like really, really good, but I don't think we're ready for that yet. I mean, or at least, we'll see. Maybe in
for our level,
for what we're playing at. I don't think we need to introduce everybody else to some of those other deeper type apps for fantasy football.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So I think with that, let's wrap this bad boy up. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Subscribe on YouTube. Hit that bell for alerts when we go live. Follow us on Instagram, Threads. Send us an email, svtsportspod@gmail.com. Slide into them DMs, baby. Let's go. Let's talk. Let's have some fun.
Later, guys.
And with that, we say fuck John Fisher and good night.